Andrea Perrin. You're listening to Glenda's Dragon's Den, where everything is wild and untamed.
Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, your host of Glenda's Dragon's Den. I have with me today Ashley, my co-host, and I have LD, my Dragon Wrangler. How is everybody's week? Ashley?
Doing good, doing good.
Good.
My other show, we're on Twitch, and we just received affiliate status, so yay, that's a good thing.
Congratulations.
Woo.
Yes. How about you, LD?
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I'm bade to lie down in green grass. I'm bade to walk beside the still waters.
It sounds like you got in trouble again.
My soul is restored. I'm led down the righteous pathway.
He must have done
for
something
their
real bad.
name's sake.
I don't know.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of
I
death,
have no idea.
I fear no evil, for I am not alone. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.
Oh boy.
I'm comfortable.
I am apologizing again ahead of time today, just so everybody knows. Now, how's everybody? Hopefully everybody had a good week. There's a lot of stuff going on, especially in the U.S., and guess what? We're not here to talk about that. So we're here to talk about
Cut it out.
chaotic entities. And I also want to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who has sent their sympathies due to my girlfriend's passing this week. And I want to it really was really nice to read all the messages and the emails that came in and the texts, of course. So I really appreciate it. That really made my week. And even though it's, a little overwhelming right now, wanted to just say thank you because that's what helped me get through this week.
And for those of you titillating over the girlfriend status, she was a nun, okay?
A literal nun.
Yes. Yep. Habit and all, guys. She was 85 years old, but she was a very close friend of mine. So, and those that received something last week, obviously I have not been able to get it out to you, so I apologize. I will get it out to you this week. It's just been a little hectic with a lot of stuff going on.
And
so.
we'll be using Einstein Express because apparently you received it before she got it out. So we'll take care of that.
Nice.
Nice. Really nice. All right. He's gearing up for the other Gemini to come out. Anyway.
Oh boy. And the lights are off. Like, the electricity is on. The lights are off because it's so freaking hot.
Yes. It's very hot in here. But,
So it's the Dragon Den after dark.
Oh, the dragon is too hot. That's what it is.
Ooh.
Dragon had a rough week. The dragon is female, and she did not like the events of this week. Let's just put it that way. So she's a little hot. Don't poke the dragon.
Anyway, we are going to talk about chaotic entities, but we're also going to start this discussion with entities in the spirit world. Basically, I want to point out that there are guardian angels out there, ascended masters, spirit guides, archangels that are there to protect you no matter what, especially if you ask them. If you connect with them, you ask them, you relate to them. There's also deceased loved ones that when they cross over, they decide to be with you and come and just guide you every once in a while. And also elemental spirits, the gnomes, the fairies, the plant spirits, the crystal spirits. All those spirits are here to help you and protect you. Just have to ask and have to be aware of them and acknowledge them. So, there's always what I say, there's always the yin and yang. There's always the good and there's always the bad. The world has to kind of equalize in one way or another. And, that's basically the way the mystical world does it. They have a lot on the good side. And usually the bright and light always wins or always is able to manage the dark. The dark disappears when there's light in the room. Not that we don't have the lights on, but anyway. So I do want to go over a little bit the difference of chaotic entities. For example, there's poltergeists, there's evil spirits, there's demons, and there's different degrees of them also. For example, poltergeists. Do you guys know where that came from? It is basically a living human's negative energy, whether you know it, believe it or not. It is someone who has moved on, who's passed, who was miserable during their lifetime, and enjoys and grows in the negative energy realm. So they hang out and they give the person that is in that house or building or whatever fear, or they make them angry, or they do all that stuff. And the more that the living creates the negative energy, the more that entity on the other side grows and gets stronger and is able to do more stuff. That's why the TVs go on and the lights go off and things get thrown around and you see blood coming through the walls, or you see blood in beds, or you feel like somebody's on top of you when you're in bed and you can't move, and things like that.
Now, not every one of those things is indicative of a poltergeist.
No.
I was working with clients a while back where there was a little child playing with the husband's computer, turning it on and off just to be playful with him because she saw him as a father figure, and she was not a poltergeist. So, TVs and things can go on and off for different reasons.
Yes, but that's one of the stuff that they do.
Right.
So it's kind of like you could have a headache, and there could be 20 different reasons why you have the headache.
Yeah, it's like a Venn
Number one.
diagram.
But, yes, he's my number one headache. But you still have a headache. So the TVs still go on and off.
I just didn't want everybody thinking that if that happens, they've got a poltergeist and they should.
Well, okay. They should what?
They should be afraid because that'll just feed it anyway.
You start calling random priests and stuff and just banging pots and pans around the house, throwing salt everywhere. losing their
Poltergeist is
mind.
the only one that the priest can't help.
People still do it.
I know.
Well, that's why we have this show.
Right. The poltergeist is basically done. You can't really get rid of it until you have been able to manage it and made an agreement with it. First, the living have to calm down. They have to settle down. Sometimes that requires moving, which is what a lot of people do. You have to stop fearing things, at least in the house. You cannot have arguments. You have to have harmony. You have to bring light back into the house. Open windows, open curtains, do a lot of saging, all that stuff, and bring the learning that you need to do for yourself into play. You can't be complaining about everything. So you got to start your days with, I'm blessed I got this. I'm blessed I don't have this. I'm blessed for whatever I have or not. And start being thankful and start being, it's all the attitude. Start being vigilant of how your thoughts are and what you're thinking and what you're doing. Because some people think that, okay, it's funny that the walls are, shedding blood. That's an extreme case, but it has happened many, and I have seen it. So you can't just go in there and say, oh, sprinkle holy water. That doesn't work, because as soon as that human that is feeding that entity comes back into the realm, the house or the property, it will start feeding it all over again if they don't change. So
it's an opportunity for you to do your own work and evolve, okay?
So you have to just express emotions in a healthier manner, start living a healthier life, change your attitude, change your way of thinking. Just go from the negative to a positive.
No,
And this is why gratitude is a cornerstone of every spiritual modality I know of, because it's such an important piece of staying positive and keeping positivity wherever you are.
now I have a question. Do you know about the Rain Man case from this area?
No.
It was like right around in the Stroudsburg area. There was a guy that would just make it rain. There's like a bunch of weird stuff that would always happen around him. Would that possibly be like a poltergeist case?
No, that's just somebody very connected to his abilities. There are hybrids that can do anything. They can make rainstorms, they can make lightning happen, they can make sunshine happen. They could also make it rain not where they are. So they can send their storm that's coming to them someplace else.
Like the weird thing that would happen, like again, it might be the ability thing, is like
Right.
water would start appearing from the walls. And there are some instances of like police officers being thrown across the room too. So that's what I was wondering, if maybe that was like a poltergeist case, or you think it's more the
a
connection?
hybrid can do that.
That hybrid,
Hybrid
can
can throw a car across the street
right.
if they want to without touching it.
Hybrids can go like this, squeeze their hands and make somebody's heart stop. And that person, basically, go down to the floor and all that. But that doesn't mean.
That doesn't
it's
mean
a-
that's what it is,
No.
but
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like to
Right,
Glenda.
right.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. sweetheart.
You say that so eloquently.
That's because he's your PR guy.
I noticed.
God help us all.
I noticed.
I thought I was Dominican.
Yeah, that too. Anyway.
I'm gonna mute your mic.
Promises, promises.
So, that is one of the differences between poltergeist. Poltergeist is really things that could happen in a house or whatever, even when the person is not there.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with, it's more on the other side than on this side. Poltergeist is not able to create the rain
Okay.
or a storm. A hybrid can, somebody with good abilities can. It all depends on the level of abilities and how you have developed them. I mean, some people have incredible strength when they get angry, and they don't realize that that's their own gift, that they're just using that anger energy, that negative energy, to fuel what they're able to do. In another circumstance, they cannot move a chair, but if they get
Yeah.
angry enough, you think about somebody and you get really upset at them and you want to strangle them, you use that energy, as I call it, for good. So you're able to move that chair, the sofa, walls, whatever needs to get moved that you want to do, because you have that incredible strength coming from your anger. Instead of using it for bad to punch the person,
As cathartic as that would be.
Yes, as satisfying as that would be for the second, the consequences are a lot worse than if you're just using it to move the chair.
And they can also focus energy from other emotions, not just anger. Anger is one of the easiest ones to trigger that type of presentation, but it can come from other energy.
Yeah.
Yep. Where were we? Because,
Poltergeist. You were still describing
poltergeist,
them.
yes.
Not poultrygeist, but
Not
poltergeist.
poltergeist. Yes, no. It is basically the only way to get rid of it is first you have to have the human owner of the property, okay, because they're the ones that are feeding it. And actually, sometimes not even the actual human owner. It could be a child, a teenager who's going through their hormones.
Well, a lot of them are human.
No, not all. No, okay.
Well, yeah.
All right, not all teenagers. Never
No,
mind.
but a lot of them are.
But what I'm saying is, whoever lives in that house or that home, for example, I'm using as a home, somebody in there is feeding that energy. Okay. Once that energy is lessened, decreased, you can then, or somebody like a medium or a reverend, a priest, or somebody like that can go in and reason with poltergeists, okay? And explain to them that they are dead, one. Second, that they have an option to cross, and explain to them how it is on the other side, that they don't have to stay here.
You
And
mean that's
just
where all the virgins are?
stay here and just cause havoc, cause chaos.
We're just going to ignore you.
Yeah.
So, and I'm saying people like, mediums, which are very sensitive, and we could talk to them.
Yeah.
We could actually go in even before we arrive. In many cases, even before I arrive, I'm already communicating with them.
Yeah, someone could just tell you something like, oh, I'm about to talk to you about this thing. And you're like, oh, that's all right. I know everything about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or show a picture of the residence or the grounds, or
Right.
Yeah.
there's a number of different ways.
It's
But the important thing is the person feeding it has to change first.
right
Yeah.
because
Has to
they're
grow and evolve spiritually first.
keeping a lot of emotions bottled
It's almost
up.
like they're pumping energy directly into the entity, and they have to figure out, why is that happening? How can I change that and make it stop?
Exactly. And then once you're able to get the individual to open up and learn, evolve, and be more positive.
Almost like therapy for
Almost,
the dead.
well, they probably will have to go to
That's
therapy.
your next best-selling novel, Therapy for the Dead. Right here, ladies
There
and gentlemen,
you
New
go.
York Times bestseller, Glenda Dawson, Therapy for the Dead.
Hey, it brought me back to life.
Anyway,
It's a knee slapper.
this once you get them to the point where they're gone to counseling, whatever kind of counseling they need, or they have
Coaching.
evolved coaching.
You
whatever.
are a coach. So
I am a coach, yes.
Plug that.
Does that make you the cheerleader, Larry?
You really don't want to see me in Spanx. You don't
Get
want to
your
see me
little
out of
pom-poms.
Spanx, and you don't want to see me in Spanx. Let's just, move along.
Anyway, yeah. Oh God, I'm so visual. Anyway, and he's my husband. And
I'm
and I'm like, oh Lord.
That's why I keep saying, eyes up here.
So once that is done, then the medium or a really opened and evolved reverend can come in, talk to them, explain to them what is happening, and what their choices are, because no matter where you are and what realm you're in, you have choices. You have free will. You could do whatever you want. But this way.
But not without creating some form of recompense that you can do whatever
mean
you want, but you
consequences?
can't. Yeah, you can't do whatever you want without consequence.
Yeah, like
That's all part of the yin and the yang, the balance, what some people think is karma, which is a bigger picture, not a quid pro quo. There are consequences to action.
anyway. Again, I'm apologizing. This is going downhill real quick. I know it. Just let it go.
We'll be all right.
Anyway, but yes, once that happens, then they could come in there, explain to them the different options, and sometimes the medium can take that entity if they're not willing to cross or willing to leave. They can capture it into a crystal, or into a rock, or into a table, a piece of furniture, piece of jewelry. Usually it's a crystal or a piece of jewelry. Those are the ones that work the best.
Kind of like a timeout until they learn to behave sort of scenario.
No, then you take it and you bury it.
Oh, okay.
And then the earth recycles the energy.
All right.
So it kind of dust to dust and all that other stuff. Kind of put it back into it where it's supposed to be.
It's like, all right, you're done now.
Yeah, and then you let the guardians of the land take care of it. Kind of keep it locked in place.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we have both been part of that.
Of what? Keeping it locked
Putting
in
it
place?
into a crystal
Like a what?
What?
Have I been broken into?
and
Wait.
dissipating that energy once the person who created the challenge has grown and evolved and worked on themselves.
Oh, I thought you meant that I was buried and all that other stuff. I'm like, what? Wait.
Maybe in work, but not that.
That scene is for next week.
Oh, okay. Anyway, no idea. I'm just moving along.
She's shrouded in mystery, folks.
Are we moving
Lots
along?
of mystery. But everybody knows that.
The operative
Everybody-
word was shrouded, but go ahead.
So it's basically, it can cause a lot of harm, a lot of distress. And the more it causes, the more it feeds off, the more it grows. So it's kind of like a domino theory. It just gets higher and higher and higher.
Or like a snowman.
Or yeah,
Keep rolling in the snow and it gets bigger and bigger
yeah,
and bigger.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where you have to find the source within the household. And sometimes it is the strangest or the least expected one. I mean, I had one that it was a 7-year-old, and she looked cute as could be and sweet as could be, and that little girl had so much anger in her. Holy moly. I mean, she could probably, if she was able to access that energy she could probably move the whole house
Yep.
to a whole different other place. So unfortunately, she had experienced a lot of abuse, and she bottled it all up.
Yeah. So
And-
we had one place to go, and that
Right.
was spirit.
Exactly. And that's where it went. And then, those imaginary friends are not so imaginary. And they attached to her, and they both became,
It almost sounds like it's like an unconscious creation of kind of like what some people call a spiritual construct.
right.
It's like you can create those consciously, but sometimes it's just like it's too much and you just create a thing and then it just wreaks havoc because you didn't really have any direction for it.
Because that spirit was already here, who did not, first of all, could be one of those that didn't know that they were dead. Could be one of those that just they are too ashamed to go over because they've been pounded with, you did this, that, or the other thing.
Dogma.
Or they could be one of those that really created harm while they were alive. And they had too much fun, so they're going to continue doing it. So they found the right food, the right restaurant, went right to the plate and started taking the energy to grow and to feed off and all that other stuff.
Because
So
everything is beautiful at the buffet.
Oh boy, now we've entered the musical part of the program. Is this the part where we go to a commercial?
yes, this is the part where we go to a commercial. We'll be right back. Glenda's Dragon's Den. Thank you.
Grab a bite.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan to receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits so that you have low or no out-of-pocket costs. We quickly help you verify your health insurance coverage amounts for substance abuse treatment so you can prepare for immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center now. Select from locations nationwide while receiving up to $30,000 or more in coverage through your private health insurance PPO plan if eligible. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier matching service available 24/7. We help you use your PPO private health insurance with low or no out-of-pocket costs.
Call now, 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. That's 800-961-2480.
Attention, this important consumer alert is brought to you by Annuity Action Network. Hey, did you know it's possible to receive upfront money from your monthly settlement payments? It's true. If you receive monthly payments from an annuity or a structured settlement and you need a lump sum immediately, then you need to call Annuity Action Network. With your cash today, you can pay off credit card debt, pay medical bills, fund your education, or improve your home. You don't need to wait. Call the Annuity Action Network now to get your fast cash with no hidden costs. And if you call today, we'll even send you a $100 cash gift card just for verifying your settlement payments and your contact information. If you have a structured settlement or an annuity and you want cash now, call Annuity Action Network right now.
800-296-1553. 800-296-1553. That's 800-296-1553. Funding subject to approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
I'm Liza Hotchkiss. And I'm Johnny Hotchkiss, and we are Core Phenomena Research. And you're listening to Glenda's Dragon's Den on Wild FM.
Hi, welcome back to Glenda's Dragon's Den. I'm Glenda Dawson, your host. We're going to continue our discussion of entities, chaotic entities to be exact.
And we let some light into the room.
Yes, we do have some light in the room.
Well, you know, a star makes her own light.
Oh, please. Oh, yeah, he's really, really trying here. Anyway.
Don't judge me.
Only Judge Judy can judge me.
Oh, no, not her. Look, I have an issue there. Shh. Don't even go there.
Oh boy.
Yes. She,
Nah, just
for another
move
show.
along.
Some judicial tea.
For another show. Now we're going to discuss just regular, what most people call evil spirits.
By the way, we'll name that show The Shineling.
I want to
Anyway,
get sued for copyright infringement.
evil spirits, which is usually just a deceased human spirit that's just hanging around the house. They, most of the times, there's no problem with them, but there are times where they can make you feel like the house is caving in, can't breathe. You get a feeling of tremendous dread or anxiety or despair. So in those cases where a person can start to feel sick for no reason, and you keep going to the doctor, and the doctor keeps saying, "No, everything is okay. We tested everything. Everything is okay." Sometimes it could be a spirit within the house. You know, especially if you're inside your home and you just feel like you got to get out. You got to get out. You got to get out. You can't stay there. You know, it doesn't feel like your haven. And I mean, if everything else is good, like, you know, you have a good relationship or your kids are okay or anything like that, it isn't that it's caused by other humans.
Yeah.
You know, but it is, you don't feel like it's your house. You don't feel like it's your home. You go in there and you get anxiety attacks, and you're like, okay, I just opened the door. There's nothing wrong. That kind of thing could be, you know, an evil spirit.
And so before you think you're possessed, first make sure you're not in fact surrounded by a-holes.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
Words to live by. Put that on a wall decal.
Don't get sucked in.
Bumper sticker?
That too.
Yes.
Like live, laugh, pray.
You'll sell a lot more of those, I am sure. But so you can have those in your house, and those are usually very simple to take care of. A medium or a sensitive person could come in, bless your house, cleanse your house, and ultimately ask the spirit to, if it wants to cross over, you know, and 99% of the times that spirit does cross over, because it's just that they were not meant to do any harm.
Yeah.
They're just frustrated because of where they are, and they don't know how to go to the other side, or they don't know where to go next. So it's just one of those that they feel trapped, so they're going to make you feel trapped. You know.
Now, kids, don't try this at home.
You see that? That
And-
means don't try this at home.
Yeah.
By that, I mean, we know a number of people who think they can throw a couple things together and manifest, demanifest, smudge, whatever. And a lot of times, if you don't know exactly what you're working with, you can make things a lot worse. And you can make things a lot worse for yourself. So, seriously, you know, work with someone who has been doing this, who knows what they're doing. Even some of the very well-known names in the field have had instances where people have come into their houses and conducted seances and just made things a lot worse.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, like, I try to think of it like the person's still living. So you're going to walk into this house. This being's been here longer than you have, and you're going to tell it what to do? Oh, and you think you're hot stuff? It's like challenging Mike Tyson to like a boxing match. See how far you get. Get a couple
Because
black eyes.
by and large, whatever Glenda and I do, we're not traveling solo. We are conduits, and we do with the blessing of higher beings than ourselves. So if you don't have that, please don't try this at home.
And also, you don't stroll in there like you own the place.
No.
You go in there wanting to talk to them, and respect is something that's very powerful, whether you're living, dead, or just somewhere in the middle.
Yep, exactly. And when we were chosen to do this type of stuff, okay, we accepted the challenge or the appointment, so to speak.
And we have over 100 years between us of experience, just the two of us.
He's very old.
Very old.
I'm not 100.
She's not 100.
He's very old.
Very
Anyway,
old.
but
Getting older by the minute.
second. I'm getting younger, by the way.
Yes,
guys.
you're second.
If you have not noticed, I'm getting younger. He's getting older. It's one of those, like the portrait of
Dorian Gray.
Yes. I painted him. So anyway, but yes,
Chocolate.
when we go into places, first of all, there's a lot of preparation. Neither one of us just goes in there to go in there. We prepare, we ask for protection, we do certain rituals for explanation's sake.
And the very first thing we do is ask, is this our work to do?
Right, because it's not always our work to do.
Uh-uh.
It could be somebody else who needs the lesson, somebody who needs to go in there, and maybe the entity is there to kind of facilitate a lesson to the living.
We never assume that we are the person to do anything, because we are just fingers on the hand. We are just conduits. So seriously, I kid around a lot here, but if you don't go in with a huge amount of humility,
Yep.
you're hanking for troubles.
Yes. You go in there and remember that's not your home. It's like when you go and visit somebody else's home. If they ask you to take off your shoes, you take off your shoes. If they ask you to sit on the floor because that's their tradition, that's what you do. You follow their protocol and you give respect to whoever is there, whether it's on this side of the realm or the other side, or like Ashley said, in between. I have personally have seen people that are in between, and even Chip, his friend, was in between. You have to remember, we, as the soul travels, the soul could travel from here to there and back and forth.
At the speed of light. And for the record, that is the near-death experience show. And Chip Reichenthal relayed his story about how he got immersed into the paranormal.
So just remember, it's not always that you have an evil spirit, or as people call it, evil spirit in your house.
Yeah.
If if you just watched a scary movie and you're feeling that, oh my God, I feel eyes around me, well, that's your own fault. You watched
Yeah.
that scary movie.
feeling you was being watched?
Honestly, half the time I think it's like if you already have stuff in your house and you're watching something spooky, they're like, oh, she's really scared. It would be really crappy of me if I just went over, huh! Do you see how far you jumped? You're stupid and alive. I miss being alive.
Yep. And, let's face it, some of them kind of enjoy seeing.
I would do the same thing. I know I'm going to be the worst ghost because I'll open all the cabinets because we do that in my house already. I'll just leave all the cabinet doors open for no reason, especially if the dishwasher has just been put away.
And what color crystal would you like us to use for you? Choose now.
A purple one. Or maybe a nice sky blue.
Amethyst.
Amethyst or-
Amethyst will work.
Or,
Oh, you
or
could just shove me inside of like an amethyst crystal.
amethyst crystal. Okay. 1 point or multiples?
Multiple.
Oh, okay. All right. So you can shine all over the place. Got it. Now I know. All righty. Stopping at the store tomorrow.
Another facet of her personality.
Oh, I saw what you did there. The crystal joke. Facets. Ba-da-ba.
So, but no, seriously, the evil spirits,
Evil spirit.
evil spirits.
Air
because-
quotes everywhere.
Yes, there's quotes everywhere. The chaotic, a little less than chaotic, but definitely a little better than just a regular ghost.
Yeah.
Or as a medium wanted
Something that might have been not as human as, Uncle George that died back in the 50s.
Right. Somebody who's, but anyway, doesn't mean because you feel that eerie feeling or that scared feeling that you have something. Mm-hmm. It could just be you.
It's like, no, that's
Really?
anxiety.
I mean,
or if you have like unshielded wiring in your house.
Right,
High
I mean-
EMF readings can be.
Right. Anything. Doesn't necessarily mean that whatever we talk about here, that you have it, guys. If you experiencing some of the stuff or even all of it, don't think that you actually have something. Mm-hmm. That's why you need somebody to come in who can examine, for lack of wording, go in there, feel everything, talk to whoever's there, whatever's there, and then a determination can be made. That doesn't mean, like I said, doesn't mean that you have an evil spirit or you have a poltergeist, but these are the symptoms.
Presentations.
Presentations. There you
Putting it in perspective, look at the range of sound and the limited amount humans can hear. The range of light waves and the limited amount humans can see. We only know hot and cold because we come in with a base of 98.6. Most of our life is our brain trying to make sense of exterior stimulation. Your mind is powerful enough to create whatever reality you want to bring into being. So that's why it's always good to do a little litmus test first and have someone without an attachment to that reality that you've created or outcome come in and give you the benefit of their perspective and experience.
Or you could even start with like a simple contractor saying like, can you check the pipes in my house to make sure that I'm just attributing a leaky pipe to Uncle George is making my walls rain.
Right.
It's like, no, your
I'm
pipe's
cheaper.
busted.
You know what it costs to get a contractor to come in and look at your pipes?
In this
kid?
town, forget about it. On a Sunday? Hey!
Yeah, especially emergency charge there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a couple of hundred just to get someone to show up. In this town.
It's like, oh, you wanted me to do something.
If they show up.
That'll be $800.
Yep. And then all the mess and everything coming, all the walls being torn down and
But that's a different nightmare.
Yeah. Well, that's the nightmare of living.
It's the other chaotic entity.
The other chaos.
House repair.
Yes. Now, there was a question in the chat room.
Yes.
Before I go, I don't want to move too far.
All right, Eric was first, and then we'll get to Stephanie's.
Okay.
Eric he was saying that he thinks there might be, people say there's something in my house, so I'm not sure how to handle it. Usually people with some form of extra sensitivity suggest there's something strange or negative in the house. So what are some basic tips that anyone could really use, like if you're not sure what you're dealing with?
You call somebody to tell you what it is.
Get some help.
Get some help. Or what?
You find somebody who is gifted enough to be able to pick it up through a photograph. And
Right.
I know someone who can do that.
All right, where would
do?
you go to find these reputable people? Like, you wouldn't just show up at Walmart in the candle section one day and like, hey, do you talk to dead people?
Call me,
Can you help me?
Eric. Just call me,
Eric, just call Glenda. Go to Glenda'sMagicalCreations.com and ask her for some help. She'll help you out.
And if you're nice, you could even call her Eric.
God.
Well, you said call me Eric.
Call me.
Guess what I'll be calling you later?
Anyway.
Cue Paul Simon.
Yes, Eric. Just give me a call or text me or email me or even message me on Facebook. We're friends. And just we'll talk about it and we'll figure it out for you. Okay, you have...
Next question we have from
Next
Stephanie
question.
Lawrence.
Okay.
Let's see. I want to make sure I get the whole thing here. Sometimes getting comments out of Facebook is like pulling out a tick. You got to make sure you get the whole thing all at once. Otherwise, it just gets confusing. How was that for a metaphor?
Oh,
That was a pretty dope metaphor.
Very good.
Bullseye.
Yes, very good.
All right. Does it mean I have an entity in my home if I often see glimpses of a person out of the corner of my eye?
Yes, you do have something there. That doesn't mean that it's chaotic or evil or dark or anything like that. It could just be Uncle Joe who passed when the house was built in the very beginning, and he's just wandering around, doesn't really know that he's even
He's
dead.
just wandering
Or it
around
could
in
be
his underwear.
floaters.
Or it could be floaters.
Or
yeah.
it could be floaters. So, this is the challenge. If for some reason you're hopeful that it will be paranormal, if you find yourself attracted to the paranormal, you can be kind of creating that. So, again, it's important to have someone reputable.
Stephanie, what you can do to confirm you do have somebody there is you could ask them to step in front of you. If you're willing to be able to see them and not get fearful or anything like that,
freak
if
out
you
like
see
me.
somebody in the corner of your eye, just say, I really can't see you. Can you please move in front of me so then we could, see each other? And that's, but ask, please.
Politeness.
Ask, very polite.
Respect goes a long way.
Because otherwise it could be a whole other story. Mm-hmm. And Christy Adams wants to know what's a floater.
A floater is an ophthalmological term for something that's physiologically or pathologically in your eye and creates a speck in your vision. So that's the challenge. If you're, seeing things, it could be paranormal or it could be pathological. And that's why it's important to sort of look at this without an attachment to either one or what it could be. Because the more you want it to be one or the other, the more you can take yourself out of the truth and create the reality that you want to create. Because the mind, again, is that powerful.
Really?
Well, not yours necessarily, but
Duh.
most of ours.
Duh.
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 I'm not that powerful.
Not necessarily. Necessarily.
Ooh. Anyway, if you guys witness a killing, don't worry about it. Just make believe you didn't see anything. Anyway.
It was a less than easy transition for Larry that night.
Yeah. I could cross him.
She could double cross. She's twins. She'll
She'll cross you
double-cross
so
him.
hard you come back to life. Don't push her.
It's happened. It's already happened.
Oh, God.
What's next in the docket?
Demons.
Uh-oh. Should I be scared?
If you want to be.
You want to be.
You can
Not
dance
for us
if you
to tell
want
you how to be,
and you can also dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind because friends can dance, and if they can't dance, well, they're no friends of mine.
Wow. Anyway. Demons.
So
Now,
Ashley will be wearing no hat today.
Anyway. Demons. The origin of demons is what I refer to as hell, which is the darkest place in the spirit world, whether you want to call it whatever. I just refer to it as hell because that is the only word that really kind of coincides with it. It's not the same hell as
Fire and brimstone. huh?
right,
Yeah.
but it's it's the darkest place. If there's a light place, there has to be a dark place. If there's a light God or king or deity, there has to be a dark side too. Everything has to equal. The whole world does. Oh, God.
All right, Darth, calm down over there.
Calm down.
Before we get busted for copyright infringement.
Yes, please. Shh.
I
Anyway,
am not your father.
now,
God. Hurry up before something else happens.
demons are demons.
Demons.
Never
Guys.
had a physical body. They are totally spirit, from the spirit world. They are master manipulators. They could present themselves, though, in a way to gain your trust.
Kind of like an anglerfish.
Nope, not a demon.
Anyway, so, although you have been called, never mind.
I've been called a lot of things, but never late to supper.
Oh, boy.
Now, for demons, they are not of this physical world. They were never, ever physical. They're always just spiritual. Their main concern is to create as much chaos and as much evil as possible. But the way they do it is they friend you. Hi, how you doing? I'm a little girl who's lost, and you could be feeling very safe and all that. And all of a sudden, once they come and you give them trust and you surrender to them, they can actually possess you. They could come into your body and into your soul or spirit, whatever you want to call it, and take over.
So you can actually sell your soul.
Yes, basically. Yes. Because they can make you very rich if you want to. But
For a little while.
But you have to trust them and you have to surrender to them. So their main mission, end game, is to seek and destroy everything in their path. And how to do it is using everything they can. So a good demon, a succubus, okay? That's under the demon category. A succubus can appear to you in somebody else's body, and you think it's that person, and it's not. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in a relationship. And
Now, for those of us that don't know what a succubus is, that is like a spirit that's very connected to the libido and sexual energy and will drain the life force from you by making you essentially very in the mood all the time and will just literally drain the life force from you.
Yes.
And there's a male version called an incubus.
Incubus, yes.
Not to be confused with the band from the 90s. There's your music.
There's your music. But
And when an incubus pleases themselves, he's an incubator. But
Oh, please stop. I'm going to mute your mic so hard.
that's hot.
and
Me blessing you. No one can see it on the radio.
not enough holy water there.
Right?
Not enough. Anyway, no, seriously. They can possess an individual. They can completely take over the person. They can make them do anything that demon wants. I have witnessed this woman who was possessed, and it was a reverend, whatever. The
Well,
clergy
it's funny
person that was doing the exorcism
Yeah.
had us go into a lake or a pond. It was really more like a pond. And all the family members and friends and all that surround the pond, hold hands while he did his thing. So everybody acted like a wall. So the entity would not be able to leave with the person.
Yeah.
So the entity could leave by themselves, but not with the physical being.
Yeah.
So while that was happening, the demon actually would make this person go down into the water and come up, submerge them with absolutely nothing having to do with the physical. I mean, it was just the whole body would go down in water, up, and be like 8-10 feet above water, and down into the water and go up again.
Like they were levitating over the surface of the water.
Yes, and there were also
Such a bad boy.
the woman was also actually walking above the water, or on the water, whatever.
Anything
Oh,
to
now they're taking
distract.
some cheap shots. It's like,
Anything
you
to
want to see
distract.
this? Well, watch
Yeah.
me walk on water. You'll
Well,
love this one.
The guy said, "In the name of Jesus," and he's like, "Got it," and he did that. So,
I love that trick. It's my favorite one.
well,
Stop being a jerk.
so it has to be. Yes, that's a hard one. Demons are very, very hard to do.
They're a twicky one.
Because the person who's trying to do the exorcism has to know who they are clearly and have to have no guilt. They have to have worked through all their skeletons in the closet.
Yep.
Because they will bring them all out to you. They will say things, whoever is there, they will say things that nobody else knows. And by them saying that, they know they throw you off.
Anything to
puts-
distract.
Yep.
Right. Not
So it's
only
truly
that.
like a battle of wills.
And not only distract, but create more negative energy.
Yep.
So because you come in, the person who's doing the exorcism comes in there with positive energy, backing them up and all that. But if they're trying to throw all this stuff at you,
If you have a chink in the armor, they will find it.
Yep.
and they will help you polish it.
Yeah.
So, just to distract you, just to bring the negative in, just to throw you off, just to
Blow apart your defenses.
yes, completely, because then it makes you unsure. If you're not sure, makes you unsure, off your feet, just stumbling through whatever you have to do. So that's why there's so many small amount of actual exorcists people, right?
Exorcists, yeah.
Yeah.
Exorcists. Which is why I started the program with the 23rd Psalm, because you really need to be grounded in the concept of greatest good and understand that you're there in the moment for greatest good, and what's behind you makes no difference as far as what you've done in the past. You're there to help deliver the person from that entity, and everyone present really has to be grounded in that, and will be exploited if they allow themselves to be distracted.
Yep. They are very tricky, and like I said, their end game is to destroy. So by whatever means. And how great is it to destroy a family that is full religious family?
Oh, yeah. That's
Get
a
one
juicy
person-
target.
Right. Get one person that's a little weak, and they make friends with them.
Or
and they-
unsure.
or unsure. And no, she was weak. That one.
It's like, well, let's be real
I
here.
tried.
She was weak.
Some
weak
I
tea.
know the players. That
Yeah,
one was
but-
weak.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it's whatever you believe or don't believe in, just be sure of what it is. Don't, there's an old saying, you can't be a priest and a reverend at the same time. Why? Because you cannot serve God without being married and serve God being married. You have to choose. You have to choose which way you're going. And no matter whether you believe or not in anything, religious or non-religious, you just be sure of what you are or what your intentions are.
And the limitations of what you are.
Right.
Because you don't want to go in there as a narcissist. You don't want to go in there thinking you are the power and the glory. We are only here as vessels for a limited amount of time.
I'm living forever. I don't know about you.
Well, that's why you're getting younger, Pookie.
I know. It's ridiculous. I'm telling you. But yes, demons are very, very tricky. And demons are 99% of the times or 90% of the times what comes through Ouija boards if we don't know how to control them. Because they love to use that as a way of coming out. Because you're surrendering, you're open, you're giving the Ouija board control.
Mm-hmm.
So evil spirits come through, but demons really are the ones that most of the times make the appearance. If you don't know what you're doing, you know.
And if you need the board, you don't know what you're doing.
So, and again, you could have a medium come in and they could tell you exactly what degree or title the entity.
Well, not just any medium. You really have to have somebody at that level who knows their shit and just doesn't pretend that you have a curse, and if you pay $5,000, they'll remove it.
And by
So
the
more of a
way,
large.
this has nothing to do with curses, people.
Yeah.
Right.
This is actual entities, not curses. Curses is a whole different other subject that if you want, tell me and I could do one day, but not
Not a day of doing curses on people, but discussing.
Well,
discussing.
some
Topic
people,
of-
nah.
No, discussing what curses are and how to work around that.
Yeah.
So, or the intent, because it's all about intent. But
But don't call somebody who's got a storefront with a sign that says open and
Or maybe answer one of those ads you see in like the New York Post.
you're,
I love
On the
reading
subway.
those.
Yeah.
It's like you don't get that kind of stuff out here in the Poconos.
yeah, well, the Village Voice isn't around
Village
anymore.
Voice.
The back page of the Voice
I
was
love
great
it.
for
It's
this
like,
stuff, yeah.
remove curses. Anything you need, we got it removed. Need a love blessing? We got it. Think your boss is a jerk? We got it.
Anyone that's going to do any binding work, you can rule out right there. And that could be a litmus test. Ooh, can you do a love potion? Yes, I can. Next. Thank you, next. Thank you, next. Thank you,
Yeah.
next.
yeah, anybody who does anything against free will,
Next.
you really don't want
Because
that person.
Yeah, because what are you going to do if that person decides to turn that on you? Then you're up.
Well, that's not even it. That's not even it.
That person goes in there.
Mm-hmm.
That person will meet a bad situation.
So you're going to have a bad time.
You're going to have it worse.
That person practices in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who uses binding is not acting in greatest good, is not acting in the light. So that's a great litmus test. You know, I have this person and, you know, he's confused and I really want him to love me. And can you give me a love? Yeah, I can give you a love potion. Thank you, next.
So, on that note,
Is it time?
Yes,
it's time
it's
for the
time
commercials.
for the
It is commercial time.
we'll be right back.
Everyone's favorite time.
We'll be right back and put out your questions if you have any. And I'll be able to look at them now.
We'll be right back.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo! Man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, scissors, high tops, blowouts, shape-up, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. Yo, Stan, yo, Ant, yo, Black, yo, Light Skin, yo, E, where y'all at?
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan to receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits so that you have low or no out-of-pocket costs. We quickly help you verify your health insurance coverage amounts for substance abuse treatment so you can prepare for immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center now. Select from locations nationwide while receiving up to $30,000 or more in coverage through your private health insurance PPO plan if eligible. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier matching service available 24/7. We help you use your PPO private health insurance with low or no out-of-pocket costs.
Call now, 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. That's 800-961-2480.
Attention, this important consumer alert is brought to you by Annuity Action Network. Hey, did you know it's possible to receive upfront money from your monthly settlement payments? It's true. If you receive monthly payments from an annuity or a structured settlement and you need a lump sum immediately, then you need to call Annuity Action Network. With your cash today, you can pay off credit card debt, pay medical bills, fund your education, or improve your home. You don't need to wait. Call the Annuity Action Network now to get your fast cash with no hidden costs. And if you call today, we'll even send you a $100 cash gift card just for verifying your settlement payments and your contact information. If you have a structured settlement or an annuity and you want cash now, call Annuity Action Network right now.
800-296-1553. 800-296-1553. That's 800-296-1553. Funding subject to approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo! Man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, seasons, high tops, blowouts, shape-up, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. Yo, Stan, yo, Ant, yo, Black, yo, Light Skin, yo, E, where y'all at?
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
Hi, this is Chip Reichenthal, author of Even the Dead Won't Tell You the Truth and proud host of Kindness Beyond the Veil. You are listening to the phenomenal Glenda's Dragon's Den right here on WYLD-FM.
Welcome, everybody. We're back. Really? We are?
Well, I'm front.
Oh boy. Am I side to side?
I thought I was side to side there.
As long as I'm front.
We ain't fronting here.
Yeah.
Here. Wait a second.
All right, so what are we doing? What's going on?
What's going on?
LD, what's the story?
So
I better stop.
There's a lot of interest. There are a lot of questions. We can't get into depth here, certainly. There is glendasdragonsden.com. At glendasdragonsden.com, you will be prompted to go to Glenda's Magical Creations, where you can actually get one-on-one with Glenda and have your specific questions answered. And on that note, the road to hell is paved with anybody?
Potholes.
Yeah, that's in Pennsylvania.
Good intentions.
Good intentions. So, as
Potholes
good
good.
intentioned as we are in the chat room, if you have questions, you have opinions, keep in mind that anyone that gives an opinion in chat, it is an opinion, possibly an uninformed one, with great intentions, but uninformed nevertheless. So if you really need an answer to a serious question, glendasdragonsden.com, where you will also find a link to the doTERRA page. The doTERRA page is where there's aromatherapy and products that Glenda herself uses to help her get into a good mood when she knows I'm coming home. And in general, they are high quality aromatherapy products. Anyone that knows doTERRA knows that that's the primary name in aromatherapy products. There's also the Force to be Reckoned with page. If you're looking for a little self-assuredness out on the streets, that's where the non-lethal self-defense products reside. I certainly make myself as well protected as I can, and we're not talking condoms, folks. Although in this day and age, that's a whole nother show.
I'm just gonna start reading this mic, even though it's the middle of an ad read. I'll just do it.
Yeah, I can do sign. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, if you're interested in going out with a little more self-assuredness, non-lethal products, that is the Force to be Reckoned with page. And lastly, honey.
Yes, baby.
Yes.
What did I miss?
Well, we have the aromatherapy. We have Force to be Reckoned with. We have Glenda's Magical Creations.
CBD oils.
Yeah, how about that?
CBD oil products.
Which Glenda herself uses and I use as well. And I can assure you Glenda would not be here today in the studio were it not for the benefits that she receives from using the CBD oil products. So if you have any questions about that, you can ask Glenda directly. Those products have an empty vial money-back guarantee on them. If you find they don't help you to achieve a higher level of wellness, just return them. Anything that we recommend here, we ourselves use, and we vouch for the benefits therein. So,
by the way, that warranty is 60 days. So you could try the product for a long time, make sure it works, because you can't try a product for one day and then expect miracles. You have to really give it a chance, no matter what it is.
CBD oil, by the way, works on where it's needed the most. So what you're looking to alleviate, you may not have any perceptible achievement of wellness until it's tackled what's really creating the symptom of less than optimal health. So That's why there's a 60-day guarantee on that product. It's an empty vial guarantee, so if you empty the vial within 60 days or just after 60 days, you don't achieve a more optimal level of health, by all means, return the product.
Anyway, hi, everyone. I just wanted to get to some of the questions in the chat room.
And by the way, CBD oil is not to get high. And if you have concern about drug testing, there's a limited spectrum available of that product where you will not trigger any sort of drug testing. Hi, everyone. No, not everyone.
So we have a question from Stephanie. Is it possible the entity or etc. can dislike certain people in the space more than others? Yes. We all connect the same way in that realm than we do in this realm. They could dislike somebody's energy just because either that person is coming to put shine in the place and brightness in the place, and that person could be very positive, and the entity may not like it, or it could be a very nice, bright in the positive entity and could not like the person because the person is bringing a lot of negative, a lot of chaos with them. And those things the entities can attach to items, no matter what it is. It could attach to crystals, they could attach to jewelry, they could attach to furniture. So when you go to a used or an antique place and you purchase something, always sage it before it goes into your house, just to try to cleanse whatever was residual still there, and hopefully it moves on.
And also ground yourself. And
Yes.
if it doesn't feel like something you want to bring to your house, don't.
Right. Get your gut feeling working and make sure that that's what will be for greatest good and to complement your home, not make it worse.
Yeah, you just might have to skip the antique shop and just go to IKEA and build a cabinet for 5 hours.
And apparently
Has to
we have a
happen.
new sponsor.
That'd be nice.
That'd be lovely. But until we do, no. And not just things like furniture, dolls, of course.
Yes.
There have been movies made about that. An attachment can be basically to anything.
Exactly. Anything that's physical,
The haunted spatula.
including a home.
You may
Now-
be visited by the haunted spatula. You mentioned another sponsor that we don't have.
But now brought to you by a spatula.
Yes.
Just so everybody, because I saw another question in the chat room. Even if your house is brand new, okay, it could have entities in it. Not because it's the home or the house. It could be that it was just in the ground. It could be in the house or the building that was built there before that was demolished to build your brand new house. It could be spirits of the forest. It could be the tree people. It could be anything that was physically destroyed, and the spirit comes and stays on that property.
I did an investigation of a shop that had a very unhappy Native American presence who cursed every business that occupied that shop. So there are many different types of even if it's a new facility, phenomena. And it's always good to bring someone who is immersed in spiritual modality to bless the home.
Yeah.
Right. Now, also, just so you know, you could bring somebody and invite somebody in who in its sense is very negative and therefore brings negative energy with them. And the house can then react to it. So if I bring a visitor or I invite somebody to my home that is always very negative and has negative with them, and there's something attached to them because they're just negative, not poltergeist or demons or anything, just a dark entity with them. Yes, that could actually stay in my home. And that negativity and that dreadful down energy.
Tracking mud in the house.
Yes, exactly. The same way. So you would have to, best way to do it is if either move the person out, if they moved in, and then, or not invite them anymore, meet someplace else, meet at any place for coffee or cake or whatever. And another way of doing it is if you must invite them to come in for however the obligation is of family or whatever, because, you know, you'll be worse off if you don't have
Just
this
make a table for them outside. It's like, here's your plate. Can I come in? No, you cannot come in.
Put a tent out there, you know, that kind of thing. But then
Water bowl.
you saged your whole place. And don't sage it when you're in a bad mood. Don't sage your home when you're thinking of other things. You have to be in the moment, saying prayers, and saging every single corner of your house. Don't think that you just go, yeah, all around and that's it, real quick. That's not how it works.
Again, if you don't know what you're doing,
You call
consult
people.
a professional.
Right.
Simply put. Is this a good segue to shadow people?
Shadow people.
Oh, shadow
That came up
people.
last week, I believe, a question about that.
Shadow people. Yes. Shadow people are, by the way, we're getting thunderstorms over here,
I
so
thought that's what I heard.
we're just warning people ahead of time. Shadow people. They're brought on basically by others who are jealous or envious of you. Say, for example, I succeed and buy a house and buy a car, and, you know, I'm up to here in debt, but they don't see that. But my neighbor or my family, so-called family friend, sees all this, and they're envious and they're jealous, and they actually, by their intention and their resentment and their jealousy, can send a negative energy, a shadow people who can actually keep an eye on things and start creating chaos in the house.
Almost like a poltergeist.
Almost like a poltergeist.
And report back.
And report back.
Oh, spiritual constructs. We come back to you.
Yes. So they go back and they tell the person who sent it, oh, you know, they're buying this or they're doing that or they're doing this. And they find a way to get to you. They find your weak point that way. And, you know, say for a house with children, they know the children is the weak link usually. So the parents will protect their children no matter what. So they know that that's the way to get to you. And they will create phone calls. Oh, your mother is in the hospital. Come, bub. And there is no hospital, and there's very powerful jealousy, envy, very powerful energy.
Now, is that all shadow people, or is it kind of like one of those things where not every entity that appears as a shadow person?
Not every entity that appears as a shadow person is that. Some people that are shadow people are actually residual.
Okay.
Residual beings or energy.
That don't have enough energy left to manifest.
Because I had like a lot of shadow people kind of like in my mom's house growing up. But I wasn't sure if that was just everybody kind of like poltergeisting all over the place, or if something else is
Well,
happening.
again, they're not poltergeists.
No, so but yeah, we know what you meant.
Yeah.
No, they could just be people who don't have or entities that don't have enough energy to either fully manifest or go. They're
Now-
just stuck in a dark form.
Now, keep in mind, once you practice the dark arts, the shadow person you create may not actually be reporting the truth back to you either.
Right, because that's what,
That's part of their game.
yes, and
When you love chaos, you stir the pot. And when you stir the pot, sometimes
It stirs back.
it stirs back.
it stirs back, and sometimes you get to lick the spoon.
You don't want to lick the spoon.
Don't want to lick the spoon. But sometimes you have to lick the spoon.
Alrighty then.
Ah!
Sometimes you stir the wrong pot, and you have to lick the spoon. Be careful what pot you want to stir. Just saying.
Alrighty then. So, I lose my train of thought here.
Yes, well, derailment
We don't help.
happens in the best of houses. How about vampires?
Vampires, yes.
One of my favorite subjects.
The world is a vampire.
Now, there's
That
different
sucks.
types of vampires. Wow. You two are really, I'm going to keep you even further away.
It's a Glenda sandwich.
Oh, no.
So, vampires, they're different types. There are those who really do practice vampirism, and there are those that are just energy vampires, which is not just, but, they're energy vampires. Now, the energy vampires are those people that come near you and they drain you completely.
Yes.
Boy, they try.
Completely. They do everything possible, and they take that energy for their own use. And usually the energy vampires are not happy with themselves,
Yeah.
and they are jealous of everybody else, and they just bring dread and chaos and craziness wherever they are. They're not, some do not mean to, and I have experienced those people that once I pointed it out to them, they were like, oh my God, I didn't know. And you could actually see the change, and because it was not
Intentional.
right. And then there's those that are very intentional that do it for harm.
And some of them work in retail, and we know who you are.
Do it.
Retail is hell. Someone's got to survive somehow.
But they drain your energy. They drain your physical being or your well-being. They could bring any illness that you may have to manifestation, or actually transfer the energy. So they drain your good energy and give you their bad energy. So it would be, they could bring you sick, make you sick. They could make you start feeling weak, you start feeling dizzy, you start feeling sick to your stomach, and you will not be able to figure out why. You will not want to go out. You just want to stay home. You'll get depressed, and it will just continue in a spiral downward manner.
So if you ever get anyone who says, I can make you a star, do you want to be a star? Because I can do that for you. And then they start speaking to you in a different tongue. Yeah, that's not a deal you really want to make, because that person might be a vampire. And unless you're really lucky, that person may wind up owning you. Mind, body, and spirit. So,
Now, there are those that practice vampirism, which is in the actual physical form. And, they do their rituals and do whatever they do. I do know of one major vampire that has left this plane, who's deceased, who can actually manifest himself in full form, and if you let him, he'll do whatever. And I know this one woman who has actually enjoyed intimacy with him. So, because she manifested him and allows him to take over, and she wears his rings, and that's what she does. I mean,
Hey, whatever your kink is.
well, no, because people don't really understand, again, that in the end, there's a debt to be paid. And you don't want to pay that debt. So, all kidding aside, we're not talking fetish here. We're talking about a spiritual debt that you really might not want to incur.
Right. That's true. But, this one person does know all the consequences. And she still chooses, though that's her free will.
But it's not a decision to be made lightly. Or
No. You have to really, really know all the consequences and everything, and just, know that it's not really a good idea, but that's your choice. So, I'm not making anybody do anything. That's their free will. I'm just suggesting.
And any spiritual person that
Floor has
claims
spoken.
that claims to be able to make someone do something, again, is not practicing in the light, and someone you might want to avoid.
That's very true. Very true.
It's a good litmus test, folks.
Let's see. Ghosts.
What
People,
about 'em?
not every ghost is bad. Not every ghost is good. You have different degrees of ghosts, different types. Just like humans, you have carpenters. You have, even in a corporation, you have the workers, the presidents, the vice presidents, so on, the treasurers and all that. You have different degrees, different levels. Just because you see shadow doesn't mean that it's bad. It could really just mean that it's somebody whose energy has been drained to the point that they cannot go any which way. So when you see anything that you dislike, or you feel anything that you're not really happy about, you need to find out what it is first. And the only way to really find out is by calling somebody who is sensitive, like a medium, who knows
And practices in the light.
And knows exactly what it is.
Now, someone of that level of energy, they can still be helped to transition.
Yes.
Don't think that it's a dead end. No.
Boo.
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 Boo-hoo.
So
No.
many ghost jokes tonight. Like,
No, but if there is someone who is drained to that point, hope is not lost, and they still can transition. They still can recycle, as I like to put it. If they're desirous of doing so, and you have someone capable of helping them do that.
Now, also, if you see things and you have things in your home, your car, your dresser, your closet, under your bed, whatever. Please remember that there's always help. There's always ways of managing the situation. You just have to consult somebody who's knowledgeable, who has done this before,
Who practices in the light.
who practices in the light, and then you can get the help that you need, the proper help. Because if an exorcism, like for example, an exorcism, if it's not done by somebody who is trained and has chosen their life to be able to do that, it could go very, very wrong. And it could make things so bad to the point where that entity, that demon, can kill you very easily. So, and make it even worse, because then it could spread through your family, through your loved ones, through your friends, through the neighborhood. So just keep in mind that you have to, it's not always a good idea to just go to the five and dime, as they say. And ask if you get somebody and your stomach says, no, that person doesn't really know what they're talking about, or I'm not sure. There's nothing wrong with getting 2 and 3 opinions. It's like going for surgery. There's no need to take the first surgeon's opinion on things.
And ground yourself and meet that person.
Mm-hmm.
And see if you feel that that's the person who is going to bring about a peaceful, positive resolution. I'm going to go a step further. I would say don't hire anyone who uses Ouija boards.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. You know, if you need that kind of a prop, frankly, you're either a bullshit artist or you don't know what the hell you're doing. And that's going to piss off a lot of people. And hey, that's what I'm here for sometimes, you know? I'm not here for everybody.
Yes, he pisses off a lot of people.
I piss off a lot of people, and a lot of people...
Just don't piss on them. That'll get you arrested.
What? Say?
Don't piss on them. That will get you arrested.
It all depends, because, you know, if they're already unconscious... No.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, Johnny and I were talking about golden showers, so, you know, that's a whole other fetish. But anyway.
We are harmonizing our groans.
Yeah, and I like it. But, no, seriously, there's a lot of people that make their bones on bullshit and make their bones on stirring shit in their own house, stirring shit in other people's houses.
Yeah.
And those people don't like me because I've made it really clear. I'm here to represent that other side. And if you're not practicing in greatest good, if you're abusing the other side for your own personal gain, and you bring me into it and try and make me a part of it, I am going to stand up and not allow you to make me a part of your bullshit. So there's a lot of people that are going to talk shit about me, a lot of people that may talk shit about us. That's on them.
Not about me, just us or him.
You tell him, Larry.
All righty then. So, yeah, I mean, choose carefully because...
Choose wisely.
Choose wisely. Absolutely. My rant's done for them.
All righty. So.
Hey, my history speaks for itself.
That you piss off people? Yeah, we know that.
Over 99 million served.
And over 99 million pissed off. No.
Yeah. You have a special brand of customer service.
Nah. He only pissed.
At least I don't stealth, kid.
Oh, he only pisses off those that
Don't practice in the light. That either like to gossip or are self-serving or don't know what they're doing or like to practice chaos.
what it is that, like you, we have a mirror and they see what themselves are and they don't like it. When we put up that mirror, people don't like to see themselves. They don't like to
They don't
recognize.
like to see their own mess.
No, they don't like to recognize their own faults and what they have to work on.
And sometimes they don't even realize it's them they're seeing. It's like that movie. Sometimes they don't even know they're dead.
Yep.
Well,
Spoilers.
sometimes they don't even know. Sometimes they don't even
Stop
know.
spoiling 15-year-old movies. Stop spoiling movies that are almost old enough to vote.
I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
That's a fantastic movie.
Sometimes they think they're seeing me when they're seeing themselves. Sometimes they think they're seeing Glenda when they're seeing themselves. Sometimes you get world-renowned psychics that the first thing they do is they try to read you without your permission. And they get bitch slapped. And they don't like it. Too fucking bad.
Whoa.
Okay?
Language.
Yeah, language.
Children. Children are screaming in the streets.
Oh, well,
You know,
but
everyone has the right to consent. And if you don't consent, no one has the right to barge in there and try and read you without your permission.
Yeah, I know.
Too fucking bad.
Anyway, so back to the topic.
Back to ghosts and chaotic entities. Like I was saying, guys, not everything that you have in your house is going to be chaotic or a demon or a shadow person or evil or poltergeist. Sometimes we actually bring it upon ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the trickiest one of all. One of the things that I always ask is if there's, if I could see everybody, I could talk to everybody in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I always do a lot of searching and research on that person, not research, through the internet and all that, but talking to them, trying to see, because sometimes they're just very gifted and
They don't realize
and they don't realize it, and they're causing the TV to go on and off, and they're causing the cabinet doors to go open and close, or they're causing the lamp that fell in the middle of the night because you were tossing and turning, didn't realize that you dropped it, and the lamp goes back on the table, by itself.
And then it gets complex because one of my cases, there was an entity trying to get to the children, and there was a guardian who was called in by one of the two people who were the adults in the house, trying to protect the children and weakening, so it was trying to get attention so that help would come. Now, meanwhile, the other person posted all over the house and actually a little sticker, "Come and get us. I'm not afraid of you. Come and..." Well, that's uninformed consent.
Right.
So the one partner was actually feeding the entity while the other partner had called in a guardian for help. Not a great situation. So you really need to get on the same page, people. And again, don't pee into that pot, okay? Practice greatest good. Don't try to think, don't let your ego get carried away. Don't think that you're the being, or you can call any being in.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Exactly.
All right, so you're saying that the person that called him, I know the person who was actively trying to instigate the negative entity was an idiot.
Right.
But are you saying the person that summoned the guardian was probably not with the best intentions as well? Or was it like they're trying to do something, meanwhile the partner's like, "Oh, you wait, you just wait. He's going to kick your butt.
Right.
Bring it." I'm like, "No, don't bring it. We need more help."
Exactly.
What I'm saying is the person that summoned the guardian, the guardian was actually in the space.
Yeah.
But the guardian was weakening because The other partner
was saying, come on,
amping it up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
like,
so
well, my boyfriend's going to get you. I'm like, you're not helping.
and so the guardian was actually creating, a presentation in the house so that help would be called in because the guardian was weakening.
Right.
It wasn't doing anything chaotic,
Yeah.
but it was making its presence known. So
It was
that,
setting up flares like, please help me.
Yeah, in its own way.
Help.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So again, if you haven't been doing this and you're just setting foot into it, go with somebody who really knows what they're doing, knows how to protect themselves, knows how to protect you, and is practicing greatest good. Because it's not always A to B to C. It's not always a straight line. It can get pretty freaking convoluted, people being what they are, relationships being what they are, gaslighting being what it is. It's not always what it appears to be. And so when Glenda says she goes deep with people, that's with their permission. And you know what? If somebody doesn't give their permission, what do we call that? Red flag.
Red flag.
Red flag.
Yep. Yeah, red rum. Anyway, yes, if I'm called to help and somebody's not willing to really sit down and talk to me and so I could feel their energy.
Hiding?
What are you hiding? So you may be the one that's causing the problem. You may be the
Directly or indirectly.
yeah.
LD, unplug and plug back in your mic again. That or Spirit's like, we're done listening to you now.
Chili baby.
All right, that should be good now.
Yeah, so
One.
There you go.
just remember, guys, not everything you see is chaotic. Not everything that you see is evil. Not everything that you see is negative.
And not everything you see is positive.
if you
I
let me
have a
finish.
question.
Sure.
All right, what is the fine line between being assertive and then like what you talked about with that guardian, when the person be like, bring it, and
Okay.
being like conceited?
The difference is ego.
Okay.
You could say, this is my home. If you're not going to behave, I need you to leave. You're not wanted. Saying it that way, that's one thing. Saying, come on, I can take you on, that's ego. That's
I can
putting
lick
ego.
you and your whole family.
That's
illegal.
That's ego into it. So that's a whole different other story. When my kids know I have a lot of entities in my house. My house was built in 1900. I walked in there and all my kids, they were like, Mom, you do know that there's stuff here. Yeah, I know. There's stuff, the other houses too, but we agreed. They're not negative. They're just there because they lived there, they died there, whatever the
hanging
case
out.
may be.
And they feel safe with her there.
So what I do is this is the agreement. You stay in the attic, and the rest of the house is mine. Okay? You come down from the attic, you're out. That's simple because there was one that was kind of funny and used to tell my youngest one, when he was very young, oh, you could do this. It's fun. You won't get in trouble, that kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
And
And to this day, he doesn't like to go in the attic.
Right. So we have an agreement that they stay up there, and we have the rest of the home. If there's danger or somebody's breaking in or anything like that, they'll let me know, and they'll set off alarms that people cannot hear or see, and they will protect the home. They will protect every single inch of that property
Yeah.
because
It's our home
they
too.
don't want to, right, and they don't want to move because they know if I have to move, they're not going to be able to stay there.
Yeah.
The next person
probably
may
not
not,
gonna- yeah.
may not want them there, whether they're good or not. So, and they know I'll take care of them. I'll protect them. There's, nothing, not going to do anything to them. I don't challenge them.
Yeah. there's no
I
need to.
just said, okay. I sat down and I said, okay, here's the agreement, basically. You guys don't cause my cabinet doors to keep opening and closing. You're not down here. You're not turning the water on and off. You're not, scaring the dogs. You're not scaring the cats, whatever. You stay up there. We stay down here. We're all good. So I called them my tenants.
Yeah.
And there was only one time one stepped out of our agreement, and he soon found out that he was out of
here.
he was out of the perimeter of the property. My property line.
You just stand on the side of the property line.
I have it marked energetically, and you're out of here. So
Beat it, kid.
And I have already been thrown shadow people. The ones that are actually
literally throwing shade.
Yep, exactly, and that's where some of those phrases come from. And I gave them misinformation because I knew what it was, and I was like, okay, you could tell them this, this, and this, and this, and if you behave and you do the right thing, you could go upstairs and join all your friends.
It's like, that sounds pretty cool. Oh, the person's a total a-hole.
Yeah,
I like it here.
And they went. They did whatever they had to do, and they're fine. They could come and go upstairs. They can't cross the threshold of the floor.
I'm imagining like this total like kind of undead bachelor, well, very dead kind of bachelor pad scenario where everyone's just kind of hanging out. It's a little bit of a
There's
frat
actually
house.
only 3 women up there. The rest are men, and there's about 24, 25. The last I counted.
And those women are very tired.
Oh,
And
stop.
those women are very tough. And I'm not tired.
Now, Eric has a question in chat.
Sure.
Is the word chaos itself negative in ways?
Well,
Depends on how you use it. It
Yeah.
depends on the energy you put to the word.
Right.
First of all, any word can be negative. Like, I used to do very powerful board of director meetings. And by law, the chair had to give someone with voting stock 3 minutes. And so that person could be saying anything for 3 minutes. It would go on the record, and when the end of the 3 minutes, the board of director would look at it and go, "Thank you." No, he wasn't really saying thank you.
Yeah.
So any word,
right. Can we use negative
positively,
or positive?
negatively, you can put a charge into anything, including words. Words are powerful. Thoughts are powerful.
Yes.
So, it all depends, Eric, on the intention.
So would you say that we're using the term chaos as a way to kind of like, when you're describing chaos and chaotic entities in this aspect, it's more like trying to quantify a grouping of entities that would rather cause harm to people than good, but taking the religious connotations out of it?
Yes, exactly.
I was paying attention.
You're good, you.
Yes. We don't want to alienate.
We're defining terms.
Right. We don't want to alienate anybody, and we don't want to include anybody. Basically, we
Yeah.
just use
Exclude anybody.
We just have a term, so it's very
I don't
wide
particularly
open.
like the term evil. I prefer the term chaos. That's my personal preference.
Yeah, because evil, good, yeah, for the most part, our understanding of those concepts are
Right.
somewhat universal.
Right.
And
But
secular.
at the end of the day, it can be
Rough secular.
But dependent.
Right.
Yeah, it can depend on your perspective. Like if you're dealing with an entity from a different dimension, like their idea of what's acceptable and what's not could be totally different because, well, that's not how their culture or whatever structure operates.
And
But
at
that's
the
when you
end
get
of
real
the
deep
day,
into the woo-woo
Jezzy's
pool.
got to eat, and so do the chaotics.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so they're basically just doing what they have been brought to do
Right.
to hold their place against what I like to call love.
Yeah.
But she's really got a much clearer understanding and definition of terms.
Yeah.
So I'll shut up now.
I just remember the perfect metaphor. So what's natural for the spider is chaos for the fly.
There you go.
I just really wanted to use that. Now that I said it out loud, I'm done. Bye, everyone.
Okay, everyone can call Ashley Tish now.
I can't remember where that quote came
The
from.
Addams Family.
Okay.
That's why he said.
When I grow up, I want to be Morticia Addams.
I am Morticia. Anyway, I do. I am. I have dead
And
flowers.
she's more Tisha than any Tisha I've ever met.
Oh, Tish.
Oh, Tish. Yes. So we're going to take a commercial break,
Well, let's finish up.
finish.
Well,
up?
7:54.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might as well just ride this baby out in the sunset.
Let's do some housekeeping.
Yes.
And next week,
guess what, guys? We're going to do all about meditation.
Oh, snap.
Yep. And if you guys...
and just so you know, the events of this week have pushed the limits of my meditation. Just saying.
Anyway, and I'm also going to talk about an event that we're going to have here right in the studio or in the radio station.
Yeah, it's going to spill over.
It's going to be our very first official Glenda's Dragon's Den live event.
Yes, it's going to be about meeting your guides.
Your spirit guides.
Spirit guides, all 6 of them.
Look at those hearts. I saw that.
I saw that, yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be June 5th, a Wednesday?
Yes.
6.
It was 6:30. Yeah, 6:30 to 8:30. We picked like a weird middle of the week at like 6:30 in the evening.
Everybody who's supposed to be here will make sure that they.
No, I just like that it's weird. It's like,
we know it.
You know why we picked that time? Because then you guys could go eat and still get home early enough so you can go to work the next day.
Yeah.
You see? And it's the middle of the week, so it breaks up your week. It's hump day, so you could just come over here.
And you weren't going to do anything on Wednesday anyway.
Yeah,
No
you're not.
Wednesdays can be boring.
No humping.
No humping.
No humping. Oh, okay. But anyway.
And you can have weird dreams through your
You can
spirit
have
guide.
weird dreams while you're in meditation.
There you go. Or it can be like Ashley,
And
where
I'm
you
not
start
cleaning
astral
that up,
projecting, and then
okay?
Glenda's like, oh, God.
Where you depends if you're going to have weird dreams during your meditation.
Don't forget your towels,
I'm not
kids.
cleaning that up.
You're not?
I'm not. No.
Okay.
I'll have to get a mop and bucket just in case.
Yeah. So, for that day, we would love to see everyone who wants to learn more about their spirit guides and learn and actually meet them, because we're going to do a couple of exercises so you could actually meet them, see them in your mind's eye, and actually give you a couple of minutes to talk to them and bring them into your circle and get them fully into your team. Because sometimes they're there, but you haven't really allowed them to come in and help you and participate.
Kind of
in
like
your
when
life.
mine decided to turn on my laptop when the screen was shut off and just start playing a song.
Yes,
on
I
YouTube.
remember that one.
It's like we're in the middle of having a conversation. All of a sudden, a song from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure starts playing.
Yes. And we all jumped.
Yep. It's like we were sitting on the opposite end of the room. That laptop was sitting by itself up against the wall.
And we will make this event affordable.
Yes.
It'll only be $1,200. I'm kidding. It's going to be like...
Basic and payments.
Yes.
No. It's $20. And if you show ID,
College ID.
College ID, it will be $15.
Yep. So it's $15 for students with college ID.
Yes.
Active.
Yes, it has to be a
Active
current
college ID, yeah.
actual college ID. You can't go to Spencer's and buy a college ID.
And it can't be a 20-year-old college ID. Sorry, guys. But
Well, it can be a 20-year-old college ID if you're the 20-year-old.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the actual
The ID itself can't
It's like
be
it's not
20 years
like
old.
you
Yeah.
can't use a
No,
college
it has to
ID
be
from
an
the 80s. So I
active-
don't think they were
Yeah,
using college
You
IDs
can be
back
60
then.
years old
They were.
Oh.
and going to college. That's okay.
Yeah.
It
But
has to
the
be a
ID
current
itself-
ID.
Current.
Valid identification.
Yes.
And spacing is limited, so
Yes.
please sign up. You could contact me or Ashley.
Yep. You can
So-
also go to. You can either go to Glenda's Magical Creations, fill out the contact page there.
Yep.
We also have a contact page at the space station website, www.wild.fm. It's WYLD.fm. Go to contact us, fill out your information. We'll get back to you.
Yep. And then
Except me, I'll get front to you because I'm front.
Oh, God. We're just going to.
Ashley,
What?
you have a show Thursday.
I do have a Cho Thursday.
You want to tell us a little about your show Thursday?
Well, Thursday, we're actually not going to be in the studio. We're going to play a rerun of our Final Fantasy episode that we did. And we are going to be back live in the studio the week after because.
But you have a show Thursday.
Yes, I have a show Thursday.
A rerun.
Yes, it's a
of
rerun.
Your final. I mean, nobody shows up here in the studio, so it really doesn't freaking matter that much that you're not going to be in the studio. I'm just saying. But
Calm
you have
yourself.
a show.
What's your show about?
It's just about video games and anime, and the show this week is going to be about the video game series Final Fantasy.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
And Glenda.
Yes.
You have a clinic.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow I have a Reiki clinic, so it's at 5:30 in Stroudsburg at 1451 Rockdale Lane, Suite G. And then at 7 I have a mediumship development class.
Where
at the
you
same
will
place.
talk to the other side.
Yes, and only greatest good talks, only good messages, and everybody gets healing one way or another. So
One
please
way or
come.
another, you're going to get
And
healed.
if you have any more questions about either one of those classes, just email me, message me, go on my website.
And those classes are by donation.
Yes,
So
they are.
if you're curious, come on down.
The Price is Right.
Alrighty.
That's not The Price is Right from my generation, but that's okay.
Let's play pachinko.
Huh?
I was just making a Price is Right reference. Anyway.
Yeah, that's if you want to get nailed.
I hope everybody has a great week. And
Is that anything
you know,
like Ashley? Start playing the freaking music.
I hope everybody has a great week.
Thanks
Be blessed.
everybody for joining us. Hope you
Thank
enjoyed
you.
the show.
And see you all next week.
And thank you, Glenda, and thank you, Ashley, for putting up with me.
You're welcome, LD. You're welcome.
Have a good night, everyone.